I manifested my husband after 2 months applying the law of becoming formula, my formula that works so good that it wasn't just an event, a miracle event for myself. I shared that same experience, that same formula with my friends, and when they applied it successfully, they all manifested the love of their life, specific person, or the better version of the present relationship that they have. Now, I created it as a formula. I love this because somebody's getting married, and that is why the bells. So let's just share the energy of love here. I love it. I am manifesting somebody leaving the church right now and celebrating their love. So instead of stopping this video because I know that's noisy, I'm gonna keep going because I love it. So I created the method because I realized that it was a method, that it was a formula, that it could be repeated by anyone and it would work. Now, this formula says, if you want to become anything you want in your life, you have to become it to become it. This is how I created it. And within the formula, you have 2 keys, which is to become your future, you have to overcome your past. But how to overcome your past is by becoming your future. This means that your brain is objective and that you don't need to work in your past, in your limiting self, but to become aware of it and walk through it by becoming your new self. So by becoming that new self that's already with your ideal love partner, you will become the limiting one that's blocking you from becoming it in the first place. Hope that this resonates, and remember that if you want to become anything you want in your life, you have to become it to become it. And congratulations.
You always become whatever you're fascinated with. And here again, this is the law of mind. Whatever you become fascinated with, you'll get it and it'll get you. This is the law of mind, and it works with anything. So do not become fascinated with what you do not want. If you want to be wealthy, become fascinated with wealth. Become fascinated with wealthy people. If you want to be successful and prosperous, become fascinated with successful, prosperous people.
The famous ancient philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny." In this quote lies the secret to true manifestation. It says that we don't manifest what we want, but what we are. If you want love, become a loving person. If you want to receive abundance, become a generous giver. If you want respect, respect others. If you want success, embrace challenges. So remember, the secret to manifestation is in your transformation. Focus on becoming, not just desiring.
Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing good. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Awakened Africa and I'm your presenter Bemu, and today I want us to delve into a very interesting and fascinating topic that is the law of becoming. And this idea suggests that constantly on what you focus on, you ultimately become. The law of becoming. What you constantly focus on, it's what you ultimately become. It's a powerful principle, because that it's something that shapes our lives, and whether we are aware of it or not, just know that this is something very powerful. And I want us to check on this, that we're going to explore this concept through the lens of science fiction and into real world examples. The law of becoming says it says that you become what you focus on. This doesn't mean that if you focus on gardening, you become a gardener. No, absolutely not. But it means that making your work and handling, doing the gardening at large, it's more of metamorphically than and practically. So the object of your attention and endeavors shapes you, who you become, because that is where you direct your energy. This principle has been well illustrated in in a book that was written by Kate Elliott. It's a science fiction novel known as The Law of Becoming. There is a book known as The Law of Becoming, which was written by Kate Elliott. And Kate Elliott is an American science fiction and fantasy author, of course, well known for complex world building and intricate plots and diverse characters. She's someone who has written multiple of numerous series and standalone novels, often exploring the themes of colonialism, social justice, and the impact of history, of course. So, without further ado, I want us to delve into that book, The Law of Becoming. In that book, The Law of Becoming, Kate Elliott talks about a human character. This human character tries to overthrow the powerful Chapali Empire. And this person is focused. He wants to become a revolutionist. He wants to overcome this powerful Chapali Empire. And even after being given a high-ranking position in the empire, his urge and his focus of becoming a revolutionist, he doesn't die at that point. This person, actually, he continues with his struggle. Let's take, for instance, someone like Nelson Mandela, who wanted to end the apartheid rule in South Africa. This person, he was so much focused in becoming that one South African who changed or who ended the apartheid system or the apartheid rule in South Africa. This is a very interesting take on the law of becoming, as it demonstrates that it still works even if you fail at first. Because, yeah, the person who is being talked about in the book of The Law of Becoming by Kate Elliott, he failed at first, but eventually he succeeded. Nelson Mandela himself, at first he was captured and he was taken to prison at Robben Island, and eventually he won and he became the president of South Africa. So it works like magic, you know. It is interesting that even if you fail at first, you'll always succeed. So there is another guy known as Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu, this guy from China, who said that watch your thoughts, they become your words. Your words become your actions, and your actions become your character. And your character becomes your destiny. Of course, this guy, Lao Tzu, was born in 571 BC, who is a semi-legendary Chinese philosopher and author of the Tao Ching, Lao Tzu, or the foundation text of Xiaomi and the Shuangzi. Yeah? So, the power of persistent focus. The power of persistent focus in the character in Kate Elliott's book shows us a key aspect of the law of becoming persistent. You are not supposed to you're supposed to stop, or you're not supposed to shy away from doing what you do. Just keep on doing it. You become what you keep on doing. That is the law of becoming. And I want us to take a look at this video and listen to this guy. But before that, I'll ask you to, if you're new to this channel, I'll ask you to subscribe, to like and share my content, because that is supporting me.
I wrote this whole message up, and now I'm just going to speak from my own thinking. I really hate reading what I wrote. I'm gonna put it in the description though, what I wrote up, but I'm just going to speak from just bouncing off of the ideas of what I wrote. So when it comes to the law of attraction, the law of assumption, I understand the idea of it, why we would label this idea of as within, so without in the terms of law of attraction, law of assumption. But I don't think those labels actually get to the root of the issue. And in the title, I wrote the law of being and the law of having, because the law of being to me makes way more sense. And Neville actually wrote that in the first chapter of Your Faith is Your Fortune. He wrote, I am the law of being, and besides me there is no law. I am that I am. And I think the law of being gets to the root because it's about the self in man. It's about the invisible I amness, the what I'm aware of being, the awareness of being whatever it is I'm being of inside myself. So when you and I decide to exercise this law, sometimes we can wonder whether or not we're assuming correctly, or whether or not we're attracting things correctly. But I think this whole questioning dissolves when we see it's about being. Because you can't really question being, you will know it in the mind. You will know you are it. And if you can see that it's a law of being, I think that relieves us of a stress whether or not and wondering whether or not we're doing it right. And if we can see that there is like no other creator but imagination, then I think we can take imagination seriously. Because I don't think that if you don't fully believe imagination's your creator, if you think there's something outside of yourself, you just simply won't take it seriously when you test it. You won't. You have to ask yourself, can you honestly proclaim that there is no other creator than imagination? If you answer yes to that, then I think you can start putting imagination to the extreme tests. Until then, I think you're going to toy with it. I think you're going to play with it, which is fine. But learn to really accept first that it's the only creator. And in the way I would claim that is, it creates your unsafety and your safety, your insecurity and your security, your lack of confidence and your confidence. It does both. It does both things. If you can accept it does both, you will naturally go towards what you want for yourself, which is confidence, respect, and worth, and all those wonderful things. So when we are inside imagination, the thing that we have, the power we have, is belief. It is only through our belief in the concepts that we hold of ourselves that they become alive within ourselves. It's not that they disappear. It's not like the lack of confidence is gone, because all things exist within me. I simply just don't have my awareness, or I don't put my flashlight or my light towards that area inside myself. I simply put it towards what I would like to be. It's not that I don't hold the concepts to be an absolute monster, because I can if I want to, but I can also be loving if I want to. I can be both. I can be whatever it is I want inside myself. All things are contained within me. Knowing this, then I can head towards what it is I desire, because what I desire is within me if all things are within me. And everything within me, all my thoughts that I'm familiar with, because everybody here is familiar with certain thoughts. You and I have thoughts that we've had several times. We are familiar with them. We live psychologically in homes, in rooms we're familiar with. But many of us don't realize that we have the freedom to change those rooms. We have the freedom to change where we live. And we do that through being. We do that through changing how we see ourselves inside imagination. You don't fight thoughts. You don't fight ideas. You leave them alone. Because if you start fighting thoughts, you're fighting yourself. You created a war within yourself. You're the cause of that war inside yourself. So what you do is you can find whatever it is you're looking for, safety, confidence. You don't necessarily have to fight or war your way to it. You can accept something new in its place. And that's where indifference comes in. You know, Neville always spoke about becoming indifferent to ideas that don't serve you. But I don't think he explained it well enough as to how to become indifferent to things. Because the way I've learned to become indifferent, the typical way is to not react to what is bad, but it's not really about that. Because I don't necessarily believe that it's about negating things. Because what I've learned over time, when I first studied the law of attraction or the law of assumption, I didn't feel free. I felt more in bondage. And the reason why I felt more in bondage was because a lot of these teachings are teaching you to negate things. They're telling you to, don't feel this and don't think that and don't this and don't that. And they don't necessarily point you towards something. They're telling you what not to do, but not necessarily telling you what to do, or where to go, or what to assume, or what you should find within yourself. And it isn't until we see that it's about going towards states and accepting new states in its place that we can find the freedom we're looking for, because what we're looking for is a freedom of choice. Because within ourselves, we have these states that you and I feel in bondage to. We feel stuck in. We have problems inside ourselves that we feel like we can't solve. But it isn't until we see that the problem only exists through our belief in it. Not that it does, not the belief in its existence, the belief that we're stuck. that's the problem. We're not stuck. There's nothing you can be stuck in imagination. There's no self-concept you're stuck in, because that would claim that I am stuck. You can claim you're freed. Whatever it is you want. You don't necessarily have to know the way. The way is through I am, through the way of being free. You start being freed from the issue that you otherwise thought you were stuck into moments ago. You've repented and changed. And I think it's important to know that everything within you does have a cause. Everything inside yourself. And you are that cause. So it doesn't hold any power over you. And this world we're in is a world of the imagination and the senses married. They're in a marriage with each other. But the change first happens in imagination. The change must first happen within to see the change in the senses. And I think that once we can see that imagination does both things, that it makes me feel unsafe and it makes me feel safe, that I can use it for both, then I think you can find a freedom within yourself that you'll realize that it creates the wars inside me, the fighting, and it creates the peace. It does both. I can use it for both. I think that when you accept the both, the duality of those things comes from one source, that's when true freedom can start. I'm not saying that you need to be like perfect right away, but what you can do is when you see it comes from your anxiety that you're feeling, it's stemming from the same place that your peace comes from, then I think you will naturally start choosing peace. You can still choose anxiety if you want to, but once you start to see the cause of it, it's very hard to continue choosing it, because usually you'll feel anxious because you think something outside of you is happening. You think something is imposing itself upon you, and there's nothing you can do about it, that you have no control inside yourself. That's why you're most likely scared. But your feelings of being uncontrolled and feeling like you lost it also stems from the feelings that you have it. Like I said in my last video, we've believed in the loss of our control in our world, a loss of our safety, a loss of our respect. And I'm someone who's experienced true loss in those things. I know what it's like to feel like you've lost respect and you've lost your confidence and you lost your worth. Because worth is the belief that sustains the loss in other things, because you can believe you lost your confidence and you can believe you're unworthy to have confidence, which sustains the belief in that lack of confidence. So, from experience, I know what it's like to have everything against you, to have the conversations you have with people against you, to have the senses against you, to have your neighbors against you. I know what it's like to have people against you in conversations while you're trying to assume something new. I know the feelings of even those who are supposed to love you against you. I know what it's like to have opposition in the world. But regardless of the opposition in the world of Caesar, eventually it must obey imagination. It has to. Because it's not the senses that are in control. It's imagination that it's mimicking the senses, or the senses are mimicking imagination. And once we can see that imagination is the creator, I don't have to put my belief, that power I have inside myself, into the words of others. I don't have to believe in what they say. I can believe in what I say about myself, inside myself. So I start to trust and believe in imagination. And I'm fully aware of the difficulty in that sometimes. But if you're having difficulty with accepting imagination, learn to practice that at nighttime. Before you fall asleep, truly accept. Maybe you're falling asleep tonight and you feel anxiety, or you feel unsafe, or you feel whatever it is, paranoid. Understand truly on a deep level before you go to assume anything. You go to, whatever it is you're going to do. Before you do anything, accept that the creator of that paranoia, of that anxiety, stems from imagination, which is the same source of the freedom, of that nobody's watching you, of that safety, of whatever it is, of the confidence, of the security that you seek. There's only one creator here. There is no other. That can help you tremendously in accepting the new ideas inside yourself, that all ideas stem from one place. And all it takes is your belief inside yourself because these ideas are inside you. And that's where desire dwells, and that's where fulfillment dwells. So both dwell there. And you can live however you want inside yourself. You can live in desire or in fulfillment. You can fall asleep tonight truly feeling that all your needs are met. And by needs, I'm not saying water and shelter. I mean those little desires. The desires that nobody knows about. Those tiny little things that that only imagination would know. And then you can start to have an intimate relationship with your imagination, that it knows the small things you want. And when I have felt that I have those small things, they truly arise in my world. And to me, that's what I live for. I live for those small things. I love the big imagination. I love the big things that happen, and they're quite, surprising. But I love the small things I've imagined, and I get them. I feel like I truly feel intimate with myself. So, I want to stress that you don't fight thoughts. You don't fight anything because you started the fight within yourself. You learn to accept something new in its place. And there's a scripture that really goes well with this, that I have a little notebook. I write down every day, things. And, it's in Isaiah, and it says, "Do not remember the past events. Pay no attention of things of old. I am creating something new. There it is. Do you see it?" And that's the Lord speaking. He says, "I am creating something new. There it is. Do you see it?" And he says, "I put roads in the desert." It's the idea that imagination will find the way. It can put a road in a desert if it wants to get to the destination, to get you to the destination it needs to get you to. And it says, "I create something new. Do you see it?" So you and I can mimic that being and create something new in its place inside ourselves, instead of accepting what we've already accepted. We've already experienced the full experience of the states we're in. So why don't we accept something new in its place? And we accept it by believing we have it, or are it, whatever it is you want to do. I find it easier to accept that I have the confidence I was once seeking, that I thought I lost. I think it's easier to accept that I have it now. I don't necessarily do scenes all the time. You don't have to. I have found it's easier to accept that you're wealthier tonight than you were yesterday. Why not? Accept that you're more confident, you're more respected, you're more listened to. I mean, I grew up not being listened to, and now a bunch of people listen to me. It doesn't really, I mean, it's wonderful, don't get me wrong, but it's just a state. We're in a world of states. And everything comes down to its one source, which is imagination. So don't be ashamed to accept something wonderful within yourself, because it's all coming from one place. That shitty idea you have about yourself is stemming from the greatness inside yourself. It's all there. It's up to you to where you want to go within yourself. It's up to you. You're truly your own problem inside imagination, because you're the only one who's there. The name is I Am. And I Am is it's self. It's directed towards the self. It's what are you being inside yourself. And, and whether you like it or not, you are accepting things. And so you have to ask yourself, do I like what I'm accepting within? If not, then change. You are allowed to. You are allowed to do whatever you want inside yourself. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to repentance, that gift. So you either have it or you don't, but you can have it. That's the wonderful news of Neville's, that you can have it within yourself. Don't worry about the senses so much. Don't worry about the senses. First, try to change imagination. First, focus on the change inside. If you can really, really hone in on that, you will find the senses changing faster than you would think. There was a long time where I wasn't seeing progress because I was so anxious on the change, so observant of the change outside of me, that I didn't realize that I truly did not change inside myself. It wasn't until I started to believe I had things inside myself, whatever it was, that I saw the change instantly outside of myself. I mean, within a couple of days, I saw it. So take it from me as somebody who I've said I've experienced a dark world. I know exactly what it's like to look at people inside myself and see people who attack me. To see strangers, see people who have weapons against me, to see I'm warring within myself, feel like no one has sympathy for me, no one cares for me, no one loves me, no one respects me, no one wants me. I know exactly what that feels like, to a pretty extreme degree. I would never lie about such a thing. But knowing that I created that world inside myself, that it has a cause, and that cause is me, and that it's mimicking the concepts I hold of myself, that the nature of my mind is in alignment with the nature of my self-concepts, then I don't need to necessarily fight my world anymore. I can just change how I see myself. And that change in that nature will result in a change. It'll be in harmony in the change of that new nature, of new thoughts from that position. So I have new ideas. You don't have to necessarily become smart. You can just start to assume you're more intelligent. It's the same way with money. It's the same way with anything. You don't necessarily have to know. You can start to believe you have. That's more important. And that's what actually scripture supports. It's that believe you have it and you will, not believe you or whatever it is you're thinking, question it or, doubt it. You don't have to do anything. You just believe you have it. So we learn to not argue with ourselves. We learn to not doubt ourselves, but we learn to accept something new in its place. And you'll see it. There it is. And you ask yourself, do you see it? Do you see the change? You can't deny it. If you imagine something new within yourself, you'll see it. You will see it. You can't deny it. You can't deny you already are what you want to be within yourself. You just can't. So I hope that helps.
So hello folks, welcome back to the video. So I hope we've all watched that video, and I just want to shed some light or explain a little bit of how you can apply the law of becoming in your life. Number one, what do you want in your life? What do you want to do with your life? Start by identifying what you truly want to become. And it all starts with your thoughts here in your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. What are your goals? What are your values? What are your inspirations? And once you have a clear vision about your life and you start to focus on it consistently, you visualize on it, you affirm it and take actions that support it, definitely you're going to become what you want to become, without ignoring the setbacks and challenges, because setbacks and challenges most definitely they're going to be there, but ignoring them, because maintaining a consistent focus on what you want to become and what you desire. Remember that what you focus on is what you become. So choose your focus wisely. Don't focus on things that are going to break you. Don't focus on things that are not going to make you. And according to what the speaker was talking about, there are some similarities between the law of becoming and the law of attraction, which I'm going to talk about in my next video. But remember that from Lao Tzu, watch your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions determine your destiny. This is Awakened Africa. I'm your presenter, Bemo. If you're new to this channel, I'll ask you to subscribe, share, and like my content. Until next time, good people. Bye-bye.